Hello, 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 and welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the reuse and distribution of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. This is episode 52, and we're still going strong. Because the 15th, which is Tuesday, would be the 2-year anniversary of this podcast.
Woo-hoo.
Woohoo!
This is a big deal.
Derek and I were there.
Yeah, we were there. First episode. Yep. I gotta tell you, this is a big deal. This is like, well, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, like it's eyeshadow and mascara big, but it's not really like wax my eyebrows and do my hair big. It's like somewhere in between.
I don't know how to tell you this, but this is kind of a big deal.
Is it shave your legs big deal though?
Is anything?
That's fair.
I mean, like the only thing that shave your legs big is just when it gets uncomfortable enough to wear leggings. Then I have to do something.
That's true. Poor Andrew has to deal with that, and it's true.
I know I can't ever wear leggings because I refuse to shave my legs. It's really uncomfortable.
Poor thing.
I did that once on a dare. Like I shaved like half of one leg on a dare.
Feels nice, doesn't it?
No, I hated it.
What?
It felt absolutely wrong. I felt like Brian Boitano. I did win the $40.
You have to start shaving your legs when you're like 12 or 13, you know.
You got $40 out of that shit? That's not fair. Where's my $40?
Out of what?
Out of him shaving his leg.
Oh.
It was a dare. Oh, he bet me $40. He bet me $40 I wouldn't, and the Jack Daniels said I would.
He didn't even have to bet you $40. We all know that guys are way more susceptible to dares than girls are. That's just
I bet you won't.
Scientific fact.
That's true. Like around here, you know, like there's the double dog dare, triple dog dare, blah blah blah. Like around here, you won't.
Yeah,
that's all you have to say. You won't.
Say what again, motherfucker? I double dog dare you.
around here, you say you won't, and it's like throwing down the gauntlet.
Right.
So, I've done stupid shit after those words.
I bet.
I got scars from after those words.
That's kind of how we wound up breaking the rear axle on that GMV, was because as I was driving it, the guy riding shotgun was like, you should jump that culvert. I'm like, dude, I will. And he's like, I bet you fucking won't. All right, that's it. We're doing this.
That's
you know, I read a book once when I was trying to figure out how to raise boys when I didn't fucking understand them. I read a book about it, and in the book the author says that the biggest difference you have to understand between boys and girls is that girls do something stupid and they get hurt and they figure that was a bad idea. Boys do something stupid and they get hurt and they figure that was bad luck. It's not going to happen next time.
If I do this 3 to 6 more times, I will figure this out.
The odds are in my favor. Yeah.
Andrew, you won't preceded my brother bending the frame on his Ford Explorer also.
Oh,
we were out like wheeling around in the mud, and there was this little creek bottom when we got, and you had to go all the way to the end to get out of it, but we didn't want to go all the way to the end, like the other quarter mile, and then turn around and come back up. So I just said, you won't climb the little wall. And he said, all right, no, and he spins it, and takes off, and we hit the lip, and it goes straight up and goes kabloo.
Oh,
yeah, and it bent like the door still closed. The door still locked and closed, but the back door was out of alignment by about 2 inches, and the rainwater would come right in. Yeah.
Jeez.
And that was the day we learned about physics.
It makes me wonder how many like major historical events, like huge things from history, like like the barbarian hordes invading Rome and shit like that. How many of that shit was started because some fucking idiot was sitting drinking with some other idiot and said, "I fucking dare you to invade Rome."
I'm reminded of a lovely little country called Ireland.
Our entire history is, I bet you won't.
Yep.
I bet you won't take over the old government building that's close enough to be hit by the ocean.
Yeah, all of the Easter Rising of 1916 was completely out of a drunken dare. Like
does anyone remember Evel Knievel? I mean,
yeah.
I bet I could jump over those 20 cars. I bet you can't. Oh, you're on.
Yeah. Motherfucker, watch me. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Watch this.
Jumping 80 feet on a fucking hardtail.
I bet you won't mount a crusade to the Holy Land. Hold my mead, motherfucker. Watch this.
I bet you can't convince a bunch of children to do another crusade. Hang on. One more. Shit.
All right. Okay, what's on the docket for tonight, Jason?
Well, I'm betting Andrew won't.
There's no limit to the amount of stupid that I'm willing to do.
How about this? I'm betting Andrew won't do the next stupid thing that pops into his head.
Oh, God. Why'd you do that?
That's
well,
my
it's
deal.
subjective. He has to recognize that it is a stupid idea for this to work. So
yeah, but that's not going to stop him.
I know. That's the awesome part.
And he chopped down that tree with the Widowmaker leaning on it with an axe standing under it. And I'm like, this is such a terrible idea. And I'm still just whacking away.
With a broken ankle already?
Yeah, and I had a broken ankle at the time.
Jeez.
So mad.
Easily the smartest thing I've ever done.
Well, I deserve a fucking medal because I've been raising boys for almost 17 years and we have not had one single broken bone or trip. Well, no, we've had a couple trips to the ER, but not because of stupid things they did.
Knock on some wood now, just in case.
Yeah. Well, all right, there we go.
Okay.
I've got this beautiful wood paneling in the center console of my car.
That's one thing I've never broken like a major bone. I've broken like fingers and toes and dislocated shoulders and torn ligaments.
Yeah.
And
I've never broken a bone either.
I've never
Torn
broke
ligaments.
A bone.
Oh yeah. And I've fucked up like every part of my back that's not bone. But I've never broken an actual bone.
Yeah, three dislocations on the same shoulder.
Ouch.
Yeah. I deserved it. I was drinking on the half pipe.
What could possibly go wrong?
I'll take gravity for 200, Alex. Dan said he'll be right there. He fell asleep and just woke up.
Yeah. I've broken, I think, probably 10 bones, maybe more.
Jeez.
I don't break things, I sprain them.
Yeah, I do
that
that
too. I
too.
sprained my ankle after I fell off of 6-inch heels. Nah, my ankle was fine. I sprained my foot, though. How?
Well, I snapped all the ligaments in my right ankle because I came down wrong while I was running hurdles in middle school, and all my weight came down on the outside of my foot, and it just snapped all my ligaments. Yeah. By the time my mom got there, she's like, "Why did they put a softball under your sock? That's not helpful." And I was like, "That's my ankle. They didn't put anything in my sock." I was on crutches for like 2 months. That was fun. Yeah. That was loads of fun.
Fractured my tailbone twice.
Yeah, I broke my tailbone once. on the ice immediately after telling everyone to be careful of the ice when they got out of the vehicle because it was really slippery. Immediately, wham, and broke my tailbone.
Terabyte
I've fallen
says,
on the ice a lot, but I've never broken my tailbone. I got a lot of extra padding back there.
Terabyte says you got to dive headfirst at least once just to test endurance.
Right.
Stress testing. What?
Yes.
It's quality control.
I have no ice stories because it doesn't freeze here.
Right.
Yeah. We get ice storms all the time.
Yeah.
And snowstorms.
And snow and ice storms.
We're kind of in the middle weather-wise over here.
Well, you guys don't really have them here there as much as we do here, but hill bombs on skateboards and gravel.
Oh, why?
Road rash is my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was picking gravel like out of the backside of your arm. I was picking gravel out of that for like 3 years.
I've had from like playing soccer, I mean, I grew up in Oregon and the fields are always wet and muddy. But like you slide tackle and you get and we're not pussies. We don't put like pants on under our shorts and stuff up there, even if it's raining and it's like, 40 degrees outside. But I've had gravel like stuck into my hips from slide tackling and shit. It took ages for all of it to work its way out.
Gravel is not my friend.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite shirts floating around. It's a skateboard shirt, and all it says is "Pebbles suck."
Yeah. I remember that I tried to ride a skateboard, and I was like, "I can do this." Tiny rock.
Yep, you hear that? You hear that scream? You hear that scream? The rock slide, and you're just.
I used to do a lot of rollerblading, and same principles, the same type of thing.
Dumb.
Boy, this is fun. How fast can I go?
You're dumb. I'm not dumb. You're dumb.
I don't know. I watch people.
Say you were dumb. I said
spikes and they.
Oh,
well, skating is dumb.
Okay. Well, all right. It wasn't roller skating. It was rollerblading.
Yeah.
Although I did once do the hill bomb thing here off of down one of our bluff roads called Bliss Road. It's really steep and everything on a one of those Razor scooters. I discovered that apparently over 20 miles an hour, they're no longer stable.
Yeah, go figure. Oh my God, you guys, I still have a snapshot in my head. I tell this story and Kevin dies every time I tell this story. But we had one of those little like Spider-Man scooters, like the toddler size ones in the garage at the old house. And there was sidewalk chalk all over the floor of the garage, like pieces of it. And he gets on this little fucking scooter and he starts zipping around the garage. And I was like, Kevin, this is not going to end well. Kevin, you shouldn't be doing this. Kevin, you're going to bust your fucking ass. And what happens? He hits a little piece. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman voice. This was not a good idea.
Right. He hits a little piece of sidewalk chalk. And I have this snapshot in my head. It's one of my favorite memories. And I will never, ever forget it. Of Kevin in like an airborne fetal position, looking at me with this bewildered, stupid fucking look on his face. Like he can't figure out what happened, even though I literally 2 minutes before that told him what the fuck was going to happen. I still have that picture. Took a little snapshot with my brain.
Again, Morgan Freeman voice. It was at this moment that he realized that he may have made a grievous error in judgment.
But he should have listened to his wife.
But how can this be? He thought as he flew through the air that she could have been so correct.
It's magic. It's the womanly sixth sense. Jesus. Fucking probability and physics.
That first deep breath after you hit the ground, you go, ooh! And then you're like, Morgan Freeman voice. And this is the moment he realized Jericho was correct.
That's right. Like after that impact paralysis finally lets go and you can breathe again. Yeah. So, all right. So what's our first article? We should start talking about something.
We can go from one bad idea to another.
That's a great segue.
An economist has a wild proposal to give all kids in the U.S. up to $60,000 at birth.
That's at least as stupid as Kevin riding the Spider-Man scooter around a garage full of sidewalk chalk.
It might be stupider, actually.
I think that actually the scooter thing has a lower probability of destroying the world. So
way lower. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just give the bullet points. Economist Derek Hamilton has a wild proposal to give all kids in the U.S. a trust fund of up to $60,000 at birth.
He doesn't deserve the name Derek. We have to rename him. What can we call him?
Darrick.
He doesn't deserve it, though.
Yeah.
As a holder of the feminine version of that name, I declare he does not deserve that fucking name. I'm offended that I share even part of my name with him.
Yeah. The fund would be set aside in federally managed coffers and grow at about 2% each year until the child reaches adulthood.
You mean the same kind of federally managed coffers as the fucking Social Security?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's working out well. All right.
Yeah. Then the money could be used for, quote, asset enhancing activity, like pursuing education, buying a home, or starting a business.
That's not how this works. That's
or
not
hookers and blow. I mean, like, can they make it for hookers and blow?
The idea is that the funds would do a better job of leveling the socioeconomic playing field than education alone.
Well, yeah, because then everyone's equally broke and living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So
yeah, and then housing prices go up for first-time buyers because everybody knows that they have that free government money. And then education goes up because everybody knows that all the kids have a trust fund.
Yeah.
And so it all fucking ends up making absolutely zero or less net fucking difference in people's lives.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. I have to read this article from the story. Quote, in the U.S., Hamilton is advocating a new kind of federal cash flow pipeline, a wildly ambitious trust fund scheme that would endow each American baby with a nest egg of cash retrievable when they were in adulthood. It's essentially like Social Security in reverse. He described it as, quote, an economic birthright to capital for everyone. Quote, without capital, inequality is locked in. It's time to get beyond the false narrative that attributes inequalities to individual personal deficits while largely ignoring the advantage of wealth.
Oh my God.
I just did the math here. And so that you know, if you're talking 60 grand to every person born, if you do the math,
up to 60,000.
Well, if you did the math at assuming 60,000, that's a cost annually for new babies of $238,709,820,000.
Oh, that's chump change. They'll just fucking raise taxes.
Yeah. Annually.
So we're going to give you a trust fund, but in the meantime, we're taxing your parents so fucking hard to pay for it. They can't afford to feed you, so you'll become our ward, and we will raise you.
Andrew, and that's not including the annual 2% interest.
Jesus.
Hold on. So I can't remember the exact equation to do compound interest, but 2% interest on that would still be over, well, almost $5 billion.
Yeah.
So that's, and then times all of the other 238 billion the next year and the 230.
Why are we worried about how we're going to pay for this? In the words of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you just pay for it.
Yes.
Yeah. You just wave your magic wand and the money just happens, man. Like
these fucking commies, man. Swear to God.
To be fair, that was the argument from Brittany the other day for us having kids. Well, just do it. It'll work out.
It'll work out, says the person on welfare.
Jesus.
With 6 children with like what? How many different baby daddies?
6.
6.
Oh my God.
Terabyte says give away free income because teaching personal responsibility and demanding skill sets is a ridiculous idea.
What
it's bigoted. Oh my god, you fucking bigot! Yeah. How dare you?
And Polly, hi Polly. Polly, the sulking Eagles fan says living wage. That won't be a moving target.
Paul, absolutely. I'm gonna need Paul to define target.
Goalpost.
I'm starting to feel targeted by this conversation.
I'm a targeted individual.
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
That's not okay, you guys.
Yes.
Oh, please never do that again.
Like Social Security in reverse. Like,
yeah.
Because Social Security works out so well.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about it, and that's exactly what it is. So your Social Security was, well, we'll take care of all of ourselves now and pass the bill on to our kids. And this is going, well, our kids can't afford anything because we stole all the money. So why don't we go ahead and steal it back from all of the parents? And
hey, guys, as a representative of Gen X, I just want to say this is fucked. Because you know what? Social Security is going to run out before we ever see a dime. And then they're going to turn around and start doing this for like millennials, kids, and us and our kids. We're just in that pocket where like we paid for everybody else's shit and we can't get any of it back.
Thing.
Okay.
What the fuck?
This is another good one. This is another good paragraph.
I protest. Where's my yellow vest?
Yeah, but at its essence, it's designed to be a social safety net that could allow more Americans to take financial risk to reach their dreams without worrying that they might go broke in the process.
That phrase makes me want to fucking strangle people. Social safety net. That shit makes me want to fucking hurt people. It makes me like feel violent when I hear people use that phrase. Y'all are lucky I have self-control. That's what.
It's No, see, you know what? No, I fully support this. Knowing that there's no possible way the government could ever actually run and finance that. I fully support it because then it will implode, it will ruin the economy, and I will get my post-apocalyptic wasteland, for God's sakes, and finally have an excuse for a Mad Max car.
That's what we thought about Social Security, Andrew, but it's fucking limping into its grave so agonizingly slowly that nobody's fucking noticing.
Hey, the government is shut down, Andrew. Why don't you have your car already?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Hey, come on now.
It's been shut down for over 20 days. Man,
where's fucking Killdozer?
Yeah. Dan, what's up, brother?
What up? Nothing. I fell asleep.
Shit.
You fell asleep, you lazy D-bag.
Oh.
I'm exhausted, man. I've been working like crazy.
So I want to hear Dan's opinion on this. So I'm just going to give a quick recap on it. An economist has a wild proposal to give all kids in the U.S. up to $60,000 at birth. The funds would be set aside in federally managed coffers and grow at about 2% each year until the child reaches adulthood. Then the money could be used for, quote, asset-enhancing activity, like pursuing education, buying a home, or starting the business. The idea is that the funds would go to do a better job of, quote, leveling the socioeconomic playing field than economics alone or education alone.
What do you think, Dan?
So they're gonna have like, they're gonna have like accounts for kids or something like that.
The article
trust fund.
It's a trust fund, $60,000 trust fund. So like you're born, congratulations, here's $60,000. That's gonna grow annually at 2% interest to, quote, account for inflation.
Where are they planning on getting this money from?
Taxes, duh. Just pay for it.
Just pay for it.
Okay, so it's like it's like you're born into communism now, or something.
Yeah. What do you mean now?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but still, you know what I mean.
The article.
Here's an idea. Why don't they just?
This is like even worse.
Everybody,
it's
when
like
everybody reaches
we already
25
have a
years
huge
old,
entitlement issue.
right? But why does it have to be a trust fund from birth? How about this? People turn 25, give them $100,000. I mean, it's the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah, we'll just give them a huge chunk of money. Congratulations, you managed to make it to adulthood. And
yeah,
I mean, it works so well on the reservation.
Yeah, it works great for native tribes. I mean, they're fiscally responsible in general, and
the article actually calls it it's essentially like Social Security in reverse. He described it as, quote, an economic birthright to capital for everyone.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but it's still redistribution of wealth. I mean,
right?
No, it's not.
I mean, we already have a huge entitlement issue with kids as it is. So it's like, why incentivize the responsibility and not understanding the value of things and just handing people shit for existing? Like,
but didn't
that ought to work out well.
That's exactly what it is. It's economic participation model.
Rich, but we all know that all rich kids who grow up filthy rich, they all are completely financially responsible, members of society.
I'm gonna hang my head in shame at this point.
Yeah, right. I mean, it makes you value shit when you have to work your way up from the bottom to get anywhere. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, which
is why no matter how wealthy my parents are, I'm not wealthy. They didn't. We had to find our own way. My dad insisted on
exactly.
Never mind that they passed laws that allow kids to stay on their parents' health insurance until they're 26.
Yeah,
they're passing laws to raise cigarette purchases from 18 to 21. They've risen.
Courts are letting kids sue their parents for college education.
So they've also risen.
What the fuck, man?
They've also risen in a lot of places the age for buying firearms from 18 to 21. So they're saying that 18-year-olds are not responsible.
What, in California?
No, several states have risen.
Yeah.
There's a push at the federal level as part of Feinstein's assault weapons ban.
This is and this really
they're saying 18-year-olds aren't responsible.
Yeah, it's
give them $100,000.
It's the same kind of thing as you saw with the Vietnam War, where you could be drafted at 18. Everyone was saying, why can I be drafted at 18 but I can't vote?
Yeah, that was just gonna say.
Why would it be 18 though? I mean, I'm not advocating for it, but most trust funds mature when the kid hits 25.
Right, but it's so essentially what they're saying is, well, you're at 18, you're not responsible enough for your own firearms or your own career path or your own college or anything, but you can totally choose who's going to rule everyone's lives. You're responsible enough for that.
Right.
Or to choose to sign up and go die.
Yeah, or you can still totally go be a bludgy.
Yeah. Or we can, if things get desperate enough, we can force you to go kill people and die.
But you can't buy alcohol in some places. You can't buy cigarettes.
Nope.
Yep. No alcohol, no cigarettes, no firearms when you're a civilian. Sorry, but
no weed.
You can totally use that missile launcher.
No recreational weed in states where they have that. You got to be 21. I mean, you're still a kid and you're stupid and you're retarded, but you're an adult and we think you should have a say in running this entire fucking nation. And we also, by the way, want you to kill people that, you don't even know.
Isn't it DC is trying to lower the voting age to 16?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that ought to work out well.
I say we lower it to 6.
Because kids at 16 know everything.
That it tells you everything you need to know about this system. For fuck's sake, the less informed voters are, the better it is for politicians.
Yeah. Because we all know
the
how
left must be
16-year-olds
getting desperate because it's
Yeah, Washington, D.C. City Council, they voted on a bill to lower the voting age to 16 for all elections.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's called the fair vote.
Oh my God, that word makes me violent too.
You're right.
So safety nets and fair.
Yeah, extending voting rights to 16 and 17-year-olds is consistent with the fact that turning 16 has a special significance in our culture.
What?
But doesn't really.
No.
You can't drive because the government says that's how old you have to be.
Well, because now you got your first taste of
Not
freedom.
even anymore. In a lot of states now, you can't even like. So, like in Virginia, you can't get your driver's license until you're like 16 and a half. So now states are like pushing it back, and there's more stringent requirements now. And you know,
in Montana, you can still be 12.
Yeah, you can be 12 years old.
Yeah, and in California, you can get a farm permit, so you can drive on the farm. At 14.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we all drove on the farm when we were little kids. You know, like, I mean, I've been driving ATVs since I was like 5. So, my grandpa had this little like Honda 3-wheeler, like a 50cc.
Oh,
we
ran
each other. We fucking ran each other over with that, like over each other with that thing. Not on purpose, but I mean it happened.
Yeah, it happens, you know, as you do. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a cousin that tried like gunning it into the cow pasture on that thing, and he didn't realize that the top line of the electric fence was still over the opening. It was still like closed, and he fucking clotheslined himself on the electric fence, and the ATC like went meow into the pasture up on its like back 2 wheels, flinging cow shit everywhere. And my cousin is laying on the ground next to the chicken coop, just like gasping for air. And we are all just like, we almost hurt ourselves laughing, I think. But
you need to get Kevin on a 3-wheeler on video.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
especially if there's chalk around.
Yeah. No
Swinging
shit.
sidewalk chalk everywhere.
Oh my god. We had a 4-wheel ATV, but we traded it with somebody, and we just don't have it anymore. But yeah, I mean, kids drive young on farms, and they do stupid shit.
Yeah, but would you trust them with $100,000?
No.
Yeah. Do you know what happens if you hand like a 16-year-old $5,000?
Let's be a little bit better about this and stop with the generalizations. Most 16-year-olds. Now, if you had handed me,
absolutely.
Oh, here comes
I agree.
the PC, please.
I do agree. My daughter at 16 would be a lot more responsible with it than my son would at 16, and they're twins.
Well,
she's only 5 minutes older, but
yeah, I
would have been better with $100,000 at 16 than I am now at 30 with $100,000. But I'm a weird one.
Yeah.
All right.
Just let me win the fucking Mega Millions, and I'll show everybody how to manage money.
I will show everybody how not to manage money.
Well, to me, it's like the whole like fair.
Like me and John McAfee, we're gonna have a competition.
You're getting really choppy, Dan.
Yeah.
Try it again.
Dan.
Going once. Going twice. And he dropped.
We lost Dan.
Dan down.
Oh, there he is.
Dan's back. Is he back?
Are you back?
The call dropped. The call dropped. I don't know what's up with it.
Oh.
But no, I was gonna say like the whole fairness thing. Like it makes me think of like egalitarianism, which is essentially communism. It's just it's like that whole equity thing that they push. How everybody, they need fairness across the board instead of like a merit-based system where it's like based on your ability to actually do the job. Everybody should be treated fairly, even if they can't do shit.
And they think this is rational.
It's like
I can look at myself.
Well, of course they do.
And like day before yesterday, I got a lot of shit done. Yesterday, I did jack fucking squat all day. I'm not even equal to myself from day to day. Like, how are you going to enforce equality between different people?
Forced equality. Like every time somebody says fair or forced equality, like I want to like hold them down and make them read Harrison Bergeron from Kurt.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You can lead a dipshit to knowledge, Jason, but you can't make him think.
Ella Spears, she says, my son turns 18 and gets his trust fund in 6 months. I'll let you know how that works out. LOL.
Nice.
So confident there, Ella. So confident.
Right.
What could possibly go wrong?
Go wrong.
All right, how about
And that's her own kid.
Yeah. Tara again says destruction for the sake of inclusion. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can, we can be fair if we're all poor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's all socialism.
It is absolutely impossible for everyone to be rich.
Yeah. And even if everybody was rich, it's like, what would it really matter? Because then the cost of everything would go through the fucking roof to kind of accommodate it.
It has a way of balancing out. I mean, if everybody is totally even, then the market becomes totally fucking even, and then nothing is worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to have, the ability to create a better life for yourself is if you have some kind of way that you can step up. And in order to step up, you have to have steps, for fuck's sake. And these people,
And you have to have inequality in order to do that.
Yeah, you have to have inequality.
You have to have incentive to do good. You have to have an incentive to save. You have to have incentive to keep trying and keep going and to take the necessary steps to get to where you want to go.
Right.
There's no incentive to do anything if everything's equal.
Right.
Well, exactly. That's why communism never works, because it's like there is no incentive. It's like you can't make more than the next guy. So it's like,
exactly
why
what
bother fucking working?
The only incentive that exists in communism is to wake up early to get in the front of the bread line.
Right.
Yeah.
Dan, hold my place.
So I love that caption for that.
If you're in Hawaii, it's wake up early to put your slippers in their spot in the bread line. They leave their flip flops.
Nope, shoes there.
Yeah.
That's why I love that caption.
In Venezuela, they got rid of that by banning long lines. No shit, legit.
Socialism absolutely achieved.
No
That's
shit,
not
legit.
real socialism.
They banned long lines. Like that was their answer to long lines at bread stores. They banned long lines.
That's their answer to everything, and they don't understand. These fucking commies, they don't understand. There are more. Okay, your rhetoric sounds very like compassionate or whatever. You don't understand how many fucking layers of suck this is going to create. And every time you try to fix one layer of suck, you're going to create a new fucking world.
Hey, August 22nd, 2016, Venezuela's latest response to food shortages, ban lines outside bakeries.
Why don't they just ban hunger?
Yeah. Remember, people, it is more important to be morally right than to be factually correct.
God.
Yeah.
God.
Oh God.
And she actually fucking said that. Like, I made a meme with a fake quote from her. All right. And this irritates me. I made this meme and it said, "Nothing's made in America anymore. Like, my new TV says built-in antenna. Where the hell is that?" And it says like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, probably. People think that I'm fucking spreading fake news. It's a joke. It was a fucking joke. No, she didn't say that. That's why I wrote probably.
You can't believe every quote you read on the internet.
Abraham Lincoln said that.
that's Lincoln. It was actually Ben Franklin.
Oh, it's Ben. Yeah. Hey, I don't believe that's correct. I am pretty sure that Benjamin Franklin, in fact, said that, and you are spreading fake news.
Benjamin Franklin, like all.
You said it at a Hellfire Club meeting.
Eventually, like if you go to like the person that actually said them, all quotes go back to Ben Franklin.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's not fake news, guys. It's alternate facts.
Alternative facts. Yes.
Alternative facts.
All right.
No, but she legitimately said it's better to be morally correct, whatever that fucking means. By whose standards is that morally correct? Then
well,
to
it's
be
all
factually
subjective.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, also to be fair, like me and Andrew were having this conversation this morning, actually, of, well, if you want to be morally correct, if that's more important than being like factually
morally right versus morally correct is what she said.
You can't be morally right unless you have the facts right.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were saying is like, but you can't be one without the other. I don't understand what you're trying to.
That's because it's not like a chicken and an egg situation. Facts come first. I mean, that's pretty fucking obvious.
Like, no, this was the morally right decision, but you based that off of literally a scenario that you hallucinated. Right.
30 is the new 20. Facts are feelings are the new facts.
Orange is the new black, and
this makes a lot of sense now.
And 40 is the new 20.
Let's swing from one idiocy to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Let's do it.
Mexican.
I was going to say, baby.
I was going to say really quick that the whole like ideology of like progressivism is like based on like subjective reality more so than factual reality. So it makes sense to rethink that way.
It's feelings.
Well, almost you could say that about all statism, all versions of statism.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, yeah, well, we were, what I was saying,
all flavors of tyranny are based on fucking subjective feeling.
Well, yeah, what I was saying too about her is I said, I thank God that she exists, because here's the thing is she is a socialist who is actually saying what socialists think without euphemisms. That's why it sounds so completely insane.
You know why?
Because there's no euphemisms involved.
You know why? Because she is the left's version of Ron Paul.
Yeah, right. She's like their fucking messiah.
She's absolutely the left's Ron Paul. Like she's saying what they're thinking, without all the flowery language, straight, blunt to the point, and she will get next to nothing accomplished. The same as Ron Paul.
And the same as Trump for the fucking right, Well,
like, except is Trump really for the right? I mean,
no, when he was campaigning, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on that swing.
Yeah.
Mexican president proposes free zone to attract investment and reduce migration to the U.S. In a bid to reduce migration to the U.S. and attract investment, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has proposed the creation of economic free zones along the U.S.-Mexican border. The tax incentive decree for the northern border region, which López Obrador announced Saturday, would create a free zone that would stretch from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific coast to be more than 15 miles wide.
Fucking Ancapistan, bitches. Let's do it.
I was going to say, let's move the next out.
Inside the zone, income taxes would be reduced by 1/3, and value-added taxes on import goods will be slashed in half. The minimum wage would increase 100%, and fuel prices would equal U.S. prices, the report said.
Free.
López Obrador, a self-styled left-wing populist, took office December 1st with the promise to help the country's poor, noting that the nation's minimum wage has lost 70% of its purchasing power in recent decades after devaluations and economic crises. Proponents of the president's, quote, free zone plans believe it would reduce the incentive for Mexicans to migrate into the U.S. and increase competition among local businesses. But others fear Mexican companies attracted by low taxes might move there to the free zone and create an overall loss of tax revenue for the country as a whole.
Of course.
No, what you're going to see is you're going to see American companies moving in.
Yeah. Yeah, you will. You'll see all these American companies just hop right on over that border and be like, all right, Mexican company now.
Like in addition to this, right? Even with the minimum wage doubling in this little economic zone, like American companies, just like you were talking about, there's already huge economic economic zones along the border that attract American businesses. Like there's like medical tourism, like all along the border, that because it's so much cheaper to get prescriptions and to have procedures there, dental procedures, as opposed to in the U.S. But
and you can get pharmaceuticals, anything you want, pretty much without a prescription. So
like over the counter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, there's doctors down there. You can just go and tell them what you want, and they'll write you a prescription.
Right, which means that when you come back across the border, now I got a prescription. This is legal.
Prescription. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're doing this. They're doing this while the U.S. is talking about raising the corporate tax 33%.
Can I go to Mexico and get a prescription for like an exemption to taxes?
Yeah, I'm sorry, doctor said I'm not allowed to.
Claim your body as a temple, religious institution.
That's right.
I have high blood pressure,
and
taxes are stressing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's against my religion and my medical advice. So on the advice of my doctor, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go ahead and ask you to leave me alone. IRS.
Right.
I'm allergic to taxes.
But then, of course, Trump is going to build that lovely wall, which means...
I'm allergic to police. I'm going to need you to, like, give me 50 yards.
I don't know if you guys saw my post earlier.
Yeah.
I posted a thing. A dude was talking about the fucking building a ninja warrior obstacle course at the border.
I freaking
love that.
If you can make it through, you're in, buddy.
I said I'd watch the fucking hell out of that. It would be like,
dude, that sounds like a good idea, actually.
What was that show? The Max Extreme Challenge or whatever. You guys remember like that?
MXT.
Yes, MXT.
Yeah.
Yes, that shit. I fucking loved watching that. You set the border up like that,
Right?
and the people who get to the other side get to stay. I will fucking watch that all day.
Can you imagine these commentators?
You can have like a little kitty corner,
straddling the wall, and like just as they go across, they're just, oh, he didn't quite make it.
Oh my god, it'd be like the fucking Hunger Games for citizenship, man.
No, you know what I'm seeing though is I'm seeing an opportunity here because Trump wants to build a wall.
Drone cams and whatever. Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Anybody want to go in on an investment? We can buy like the pole vaulting poles.
That would be freaking awesome, man.
What I want to know is
things there where they got to jump back and forth, and
what I want to know is, look, Cards Against Humanity purchased part of the fucking border, right?
Yep.
In protest of Trump. Why haven't they done this yet? Like, if anybody would, you would think it would be a company like
hey, look, man, I don't write the laws, dude. I'm just telling you, like this, they made it across. I feel like that means like it should probably be worth it. Like, look what they did.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like they turned a semi into a boat and sailed it from Cuba. I'll give you that, but it's
fucking pile of old tires or something.
the ABC evening TV border wall challenge sponsored by Amazon.
That's how awesome fucking communism is. People try to escape it on garbage rafts.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's because it's so good.
Yeah, rafts made out of like fucking empty milk jugs and human hair and shit.
Yeah. Because nothing says success quite like
people so desperate to leave, they would rather be dead than stay.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm having this idea, right? If there's this economic free zone just on the other side of the border, and Trump wants his wall, I'm opening a ladder shop.
Right.
Yes. Like immediately. All right, ladder.
There was a third tunnel found into Texas, like three different tunnels found in a week, and this one had ventilation and solar powered lights.
I know.
Well, they found one of those into like California a long time ago.
Oh, they find them in California all the time.
But I mean like a really nice one. Like you could tell a cartel put like some fucking
they find them all the time, and they'll have like railroad lines inside, and they'll have
totally, dude.
They'll have cart
like mine carts and shit. Yeah. Yep.
See, ingenuity. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Black markets are beautiful.
Yeah,
even though they're weed
tunnel boring machines. I could rent tunnel boring machines out to people. It's great. It's an economic free zone. Here you go. Tunnel bore. What you do with it isn't my problem, man. Just make sure you have it back by tomorrow at 7.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yep. Like that thing in the labyrinth that they're like rolling down. The little guys are on the pedals rolling down the tunnel with that little digging machine.
Yeah, just you know, so just build those and rent them, and just like, all right, just make sure you have it back. You know,
right.
If you get caught with it on the other side of the border, man, I have no idea what that is. I've never seen it before in my life.
And you lose your deposit. I'm just saying.
And you're gonna lose your security deposit. So.
The possibilities just seem so fun.
Fucking government.
Can I interest you in our armed security bonus package?
Right.
Coyote Com. That's what you do. A cryptocurrency, Coyote Coin.
No drop-off fee whatsoever.
Yeah, but I mean, like, aside from all the money that they make off the drugs, the cartels, they're all like, you know, in bed with the intelligence agencies, so you know they're probably assisting them with building those tunnels.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I commented. I posted an article on Wolf about the wall, about people not wanting the wall, and somebody commented, "Oh, so the drug dealers don't want a wall? How surprised!" And I commented underneath it, "I don't think the CIA has given a comment one way or the other on it."
If anything, the CIA would want the wall to cut competition out. The wall's not going to fucking stop them. Nothing to the CIA, but it will handicap and cripple their.
Well, yeah, I mean, if
Dan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I mean, not saying that it would stop them at all, but I mean, it's pretty well documented that they're in bed with, like, you know, the Mexican cartels and all that shit. So.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, they fly the drugs in, they bring them in through the fucking ports, and, like, you know what I mean? It's not just through the fucking the border. You know what I mean? It's fucking from everywhere. So it's like, you just cut off one that, if you, like, you know, make a choke point at that one spot, it's like the intelligence agencies, as long as they're operating fucking through the black market and making money that way, it's like, you got to cut off all fucking points of entry to want to really stop the fucking drugs, which is going to be a fucking shit show.
Weren't we talking about that on your thread?
Stop it as long as it's.
Isn't that, you remember how you said you were going to run, right? And I was going to be Secretary of Education. And Jason said you can't put me in charge of the wall because I'd build a dome instead.
Oh, I've already proposed that. We're making this motherfucker like a Truman Show.
The biodome.
Order, not harder.
Oh, the biodome. Fucking Pauly Shore domination.
Whoa!
God.
Look at the Leaning Tower of Cheetah.
Buddy.
Fucking 90s flashback mad hard.
Jesus.
As long as it doesn't end up like the Simpsons movie, I think that's a bet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You gotta get the motorcycle and ride it on the dome.
You won't.
What?
Well, we have to have
a
habitable roof on the dome in order to fucking launch our spaceships into space for the Space Force. So
as long as Elon's inside the dome with us, we're good.
Hold my government rations and watch this shit.
Nope.
All right, what's next, Jason?
Start our own nationalism. FEMA 14. FEMA 14. All right. The GAO, that's the Government Accountability Office. The IRS has 4,487 guns, 5,062,006 rounds of ammunition.
Ooh.
Yeah. But taxation is the price we pay to live in a civilized society, you guys.
And the IRS is definitely not Please. And they're certainly not stealing from you.
Yeah, but that's only enough bullets to kill
violence.
a small portion of the population. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because
probably one
DHS
bullet
has
for
the
every
rest
anarchist. Yeah, exactly, right.
they got all the rest. So,
jeez. Well, I think they have one.
Yeah,
for
I
every,
can't even
like,
imagine what they have at their disposal.
Taxpayer. They've got like one bullet for each net taxpayer, or maybe less. Maybe they got 2 bullets.
Like the IRS literally has a plan to collect taxes after a nuclear event.
yeah,
yep.
Because that's exactly like who. Well, taxes on what? It's been a nuclear attack. Would you like some irradiated spam? I can give you that. All right. What do you want?
The people aren't hurting enough. We're gonna make sure that we're fucking stealing from them while they're trying to survive, starvation and chemical burns and shit.
It's like this IRS.
Well, you got to keep the fucking,
Well, it could be like knocking at your bunker
bunker
door.
Operational, you know what I mean?
Now that's fucking job security, people.
Yeah, like even after a literal nuclear attack, you still have a guaranteed job.
Yeah. Robert, to quote Robert Hindman, be wary of strong drink. It can make you shoot at tax collector and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't want to miss. You don't want to miss.
I nicked the revenue.
See, the problem with our society today is the tax collector used to be a fucking person that had to go home to home and fucking take money from people. And people could see themselves being stolen from. Nowadays, your own fucking employer does it, takes it right out of your paycheck and sends it to these assholes, and you never fucking see it. People have forgotten that money was supposed to be theirs. They fucking worked for it.
And everybody,
since it's kind of invisible, they don't even think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it used to be like tax collector was a dangerous profession.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I think of like the Robin Hood movie, like where they went door to door collecting taxes. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. The animated one, or like Men in Tights, or Prince of Thieves, or what are we talking here, Dan?
We never bring up the Kevin Costner one again. I would really.
Men in Tights. That one was the best one.
Yeah, see that one. That one I'll accept.
Disney one was the best, but then the other best Robin Hood one was with Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Marion was pretty foxy in the Disney one. Get it?
Hey.
I kind of like the one with God, what's the guy's name? The guy from Gladiator, Russell
Crowe. Is that the one with Gwyneth Paltrow? Was she in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
I know the one you're talking about, Jason.
That's a really good one.
That one was good.
It's about the buildup of the legend, like from when he comes back until right before he becomes an outlaw, and it actually has the what's the tree that they signed?
The tree that's still there. Yeah.
The tree that they signed, and then the king's like, but I'm the king.
Magna Carta? No. It was
no. I think that was before the Magna Carta.
Yeah, it was the oh fuck. God damn it. Now I can't even think of it.
Yeah, there's like a treaty among all the landowners and with the king, and then the king's like, and then the king's like, but I'm the king. And then everybody's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did that whole big thing.
Forced King John to sign it. Yeah, and what was that fucking called?
Yeah, and he waited until basically all of the soldiers, the foot soldiers, had gone home, and now he wasn't under imminent threat of violence, and he was like, yeah, about that. I'm still king.
Right.
And just didn't care. That does predate the Magna Carta, though. That was.
How are we all not remembering the name of this super fucking famous document all at the same time?
God.
I blame the weasel.
Yeah, it's the weasel. It altered everything.
The NSA.
From my understanding, like under the Treaty of 1213, it like essentially established like papal authority over the king and all the lands that England owned. So essentially, what happened was that the king was collecting taxes for the Pope.
Right. Well, partially for the Pope.
That's the part they kind of leave out of that story.
Right. Well.
Oh no, it was the Magna Carta.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. See, I was right. My first impulse was right.
Yeah, the Great Charter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Magna Carta, yeah.
The Magna Carta that I can remember in school where they pointed to it and they were like, see, that was the, part of the bloodless revolution or whatever in England that brought, more freedom to, and I remember even at the time going, but literally nothing changed for like hundreds of years. Freedom. What? No.
Yeah. The Magna Carta, this super important piece of paper,
it was like
that meant absolutely nothing. It was lip service, just like the U.S. Constitution is fucking lip service,
which was based on the Magna Carta.
Yes. Yeah. See, these things go in cycles.
It's always like a sleight of hand bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you guys bring it up, we can segue into another article.
Let's do it.
Oh, the page is not coming up now. Yay. Oh, I hate when this happens. It makes me want to punch things.
Technical difficulties. Beep. Somebody put the Jeopardy theme on.
I didn't think it would work.
Yeah. No more technical difficulties.
Okay. This is
fucking professionals.
Native American tribe member who killed elk to feed family asked Supreme Court to throw out a poaching conviction. Members of the Crow tribe hunt elk to feed their families. The state of Wyoming says they can't kill an animal on federal forested land without a permit. The Supreme Court will now decide whether an 1868 treaty protects the Native Americans' right to hunt.
Was the treaty ever rescinded? I mean, like, if we're talking about the status legal paradigm here, was the treaty ever rescinded?
Nope.
No. Then yes, it fucking does. I mean,
has the government ever actually followed through on a treaty?
No.
Yeah, have they ever observed a single treaty?
No.
Yeah, during 2014 hunting expedition, Kevin Herrera and 3 other tribal members pursued a small herd of elk as it's moved from the Crow Reservation into Montana to the Bighorn National Forest in Wyoming. There, the hunter party shot, quartered, and packed 3 elk and carried the meat back to the reservation, dividing it among their families according to court documents.
Fucking criminals.
Wyoming game officials later tracked down Herrera and charged him with hunting off-season and without a license. A state court convicted Herrera, and he was ordered to pay $8,000 fine and give up hunting privileges for 3 years.
And what are licenses and permits, kids? When the government takes your freedom. Come on, everybody chime in and sells it back to you.
Herrera said the second treaty of Fort Laramie from 1868 between the United States and the Crow tribe before Wyoming became a state essentially allows tribal members to legally hunt in unpopulated federal forested lands at any time. The treaty, which established the tribe's present-day reservation, states that members, quote, shall have the right to hunt on the unoccupied lands of the U.S. so long as game may be found thereon, and as long as peace subsides among the whites and Indians on the borders of the hunting districts.
Well, that's pretty fucking clear, isn't it? Why is there even a question about this?
Well, because the whites are upset about it.
Wyoming contends that the treaty only meant to afford, quote, temporary rights to hunt off the reservation, and that when the state was created in 1890, those rights were terminated.
Where does the treaty say temporary?
The state also argues that President Grover Cleveland's designation of the land as a national forest in 1897 efficiently rendered it, quote, occupied. Moreover,
it's
a national park, which is exactly the opposite of occupied.
Yes.
So that renders it occupied.
That's why they declare these things national parks, so nobody can fucking occupy them.
Moreover,
so why do they call it rights and not privileges?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're the land of the free, Dan. We are totally fucking free.
Yeah. You know what? If you don't like it, you can go ahead and move to the Crow Reservation.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't experienced alcoholism yet, so.
Man,
I could dive deep into that if I get on the res.
That's
If you don't like it, you can move to Kaspaya.
What about, can I move to Wakanda? Or is that not,
Yeah.
we're not allowed
Wakanda
white
shit is
people
this.
there?
Herrera
Kaspaya
is
used to
single-
be a real place, though.
Yeah, Herrera, a single father of 3. It says hunting rights are deeply personal. Facing tough financial times in 2014, he says he went to shoot an elk to quote live off the meat during the winter, according to the court documents. Quote, affirmance not only would strip a sovereign Indian tribe of a long-standing treaty guaranteed right of enormous practical and spiritual significance, whereas legal team writes in its brief to the High Court, quote, it would also threaten the rights of numerous other Indian tribes that long ago reserved similar off-reservation protection in its own treaties with the U.S.
Yeah.
The
And
Trump,
like,
this is the kicker. This is the kicker. The Trump administration has taken Herrera's side, writing a brief to the court that, in its view, neither Wyoming statehood nor creation of the national forest terminated the Crows' hunting rights under the treaty.
No shit.
well,
Yeah.
at least they did something right.
Right?
Even a broken clock is right twice a day, kiddos.
Surprise, surprise.
I mean,
It's the same thing with Cody Wilson, a defense distributed, not Cody Wilson, but defense distributed. Like the federal government's like, yeah, they can do it, and the states are like, oh no, grumble, 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 grumble.
yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, remember, it's under federalism, right? They signed a treaty with the federal government
Uh-huh.
that was this deal with the federal government. So the fact that you come along and go, we're a state now, doesn't undo the fact that they had that treaty, just based
Yeah, and
purely
it's
on
federal land.
legality stuff.
And
Well, federal land
wonder,
supersedes state rights, doesn't it?
I gotta wonder, like, what
Yeah,
kind of
that's what the whole Bundy thing was about.
Yeah.
so what kind of like grown up schoolyard bully fucking asshole had so much of a problem with these natives hunting 3 elk on federal fucking land that they made this big a deal of it that it's going to the fucking Supreme Court? What kind of fucking asshole makes that big a deal out of something like that?
A politician because they're control freaks.
No, I guarantee you that it was
These are
the wildlife.
bureaucrats. Yeah, these are bureaucrats. These aren't elected officials.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's the
bureaucrats
real
are usually
power.
even worse.
Yeah, that's the real power in this country. It's not necessarily elected officials. It's all the unelected, petty fucking tyrants that have the real direct power over your life as a citizen of this fucking plot of dirt.
Well, and that's I guarantee you, I know exactly how this went. Was they found the carcasses in the national park? They started trying to track.
I mean, like, because they.
Yeah.
Right.
So then they start trying to track who killed them, and they go, okay, well, they track them back to the border of the reservation, and somebody goes, well, that means that they were probably natives. They get to hunt, and the federal game fishing game were like, well, oh no, they don't. I don't care who they are.
The state,
and the state guys go, well, I don't care who they are, and then cross the border and head in and arrest them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't get to just disregard 150-year-old treaties because they're suddenly inconvenient for you.
Right? Because you want to be a fucking stickler.
But the people who can't follow any of their own treaties, we should totally trust them with trust funds for every one of our children.
Yeah,
and these elk, like they weren't trophy hunting.
No,
right? It's not like the guy that we just had in what is it, Missouri or Ohio, where he killed like 126 deer.
Holy shit.
And people might not think people.
That guy got sentenced to watch. He has to watch Bambi like once a month. These elk, they were to feed families.
Yeah, he was literally so broke he couldn't buy his own food and was like, I'm gonna have to hunt and go back to that.
Hunting. Yeah, subsistence hunting.
And people
you can't not be dependent on government.
Right.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is a lot of people who have only ever lived in the lower 48 and shit, like they don't understand the impact this would have on other tribes. Like Alaskan tribes, that is the difference between life and death in winter. They have to hunt.
You know the cost of shipping tomatoes to Alaska?
Oh my, yeah. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
I mean, it is a fucking way of life. I mean, it should never be illegal for someone to go out and hunt and feed their own fucking family from that. It should never be illegal for people to do that ever.
Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, go. No, you go ahead. I'll hold my thought.
There's a legal term here. I don't remember the exact term, but it has something to do with survival. Like if you're lost in the woods and you come across a cabin and you break the window to get into the cabin, like that is criminally excusable, as long as you make it right with the person that owns the cabin.
Right. If you're doing it to survive.
Survive, like in an emergency situation. Like, how is this any different?
Because the state thinks they own those fucking elk and they want it made right by having the guy tossed in jail.
Don't forget, though, you're talking about...
They should build a wall around Wyoming then.
Right.
Don't forget, you're talking about the same government that literally arrested a man for eating bald eagle eggs after he was in a plane crash in the mountains. I don't know if you remember. That was years ago, but that guy that was in that like plane crash and like an ultimate survival situation and managed to get his hands on bald eagle eggs, and he ate them, and they were the difference between him and starvation. And then when he finally got back to civilization and they found out that's how he had survived, they arrested him for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although God bless that guy, when he got asked how they tasted by a reporter, he said kind of like a California condor.
I thought it was spotted owl, but okay.
You should have said they tasted like freedom, but yeah, it's funny because like I got into an argument with vegans over hunting, and they called me a speciesist.
I can already tell this is going to be stupid.
I couldn't even believe the term existed.
Yeah, a speciesist, or whatever that fucking term is. Like,
I'm like, obviously you guys don't understand that people hunt for survival, for sustenance. I was like, people also hunt for purposes of conservation.
So when a lion in Africa eats someone, are they being speciesist? The lion is fucking speciesist.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. That's what I said. I was like, what? I was like, so the fucking bear eats a salmon out of the river, he's a speciesist. But yeah, I mean, it's totally ridiculous that they even think like this. I'm like, you guys don't understand conservation, how to like manage a herd of animal that like, so they don't become like weak and fucking like, there's like too many to.
And they just,
they can't live and be healthy because there's so many of them. You know what I mean?
And they can't admit that they're fucking like their feelings are hurt by the processes of nature. These are the same assholes that try to make their cats follow vegan diets.
And then are surprised when they die.
Yeah.
Obligate carnivores.
Yeah.
Our friend Bexley had a good post about something like that earlier too, about hunting. And
yeah, because she posted a picture of herself with a deer that she had hunted. And I guess people fucking lost their shit on that post.
Well, vegans are like, I mean, like the ones that I was arguing with, they're like, oh, they do it because they get the thrill out of the kill and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that might be part of it. Like they might get that like adrenaline rush from like, the hunt.
But if they're still
which is understandable. That's like almost like a primal thing that's like ingrained in our DNA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was trying to say. And they're like, well, you shouldn't kill animals at all.
Yeah.
You shouldn't kill plants at all because plants know when they're being eaten and scream.
Yeah. You better not take your probiotics because those bacteria are killing other bacteria in your gut. Your body's a fucking war zone.
I think we take all the vegans, all the flat earthers, all of the Holocaust deniers, and all of the like hologram moon people.
The hologram moon people. The moon's not real.
We seriously give them a commune and just stick them all in there.
Yeah, but I don't want to live on a commune.
If a JDAM accidentally blows them up, that's not my problem.
I had nothing to do with that. I didn't push that button. I don't know how that happened.
We did not get that on the 1099 program as sheriff of NCAP.
Yeah. I had nothing to do with that. I don't know where that came from. Oops.
Nope.
I think, you know what? If you want to be a vegan and everything, that's fine. That's great. Be a vegan.
Yeah.
Go ahead and starve yourself.
I don't have an issue with that.
That's just natural selection, in my opinion. If you really want to be a vegan, you fucking deserve to be one.
This again plays into subjective morality. That's what it comes down to. It's subjective morality. Like,
right?
Not everybody agrees with everything. Like, if you have a moral objection to eating meat, congratulations, woohoo, fantastic.
Yeah, don't eat meat. Good for you.
I don't have an
objection
here.
But don't push it on everybody else. Like,
you
they
know
have
what
to like live to your
gets me
standards.
Is the ones who have such a strong moral objection to like eating cheese and dairy products. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't hurt the goddamn animal.
The sign that with the cow where it says don't drink milk, I don't want to die or whatever, and somebody's like, are you fucking retarded? Like, you don't have to kill the cow to get milk.
What do you think they like kill the cow, pick it up and like wring it out like a wet dish
like
towel?
They juice them? Like,
don't abuse animals while wearing a silk skirt or a silk scarf.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, where the hell do you think that came
from? Yeah. Come on now.
Well, I don't remember who I heard this story from, but there was a story of basically it was like a farmer's market or a rendezvous or something like that, where these hippie types came in, and they were looking at all of the furs, and then there was some like homemade wool sweaters.
Oh yeah, the wool.
And they started freaking out about the furs. And the guy comes up and he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I had to kill these, but, whatever. It's like, you can always go get the wool. Well, you had to kill them, too, and that's just disgusting. And how dare...
I don't kill the fucking sheep.
Or, like, the vegan propaganda that shows, like, sheep all sliced up from shearing and stuff.
Yeah.
Where are you finding those fucking?
Yeah, right.
That is
seriously.
not how it goes.
Like, no. I agree. Like the person that cuts a sheep while shearing it
should not be shearing
sheep.
Fuck no, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Every once in a while, you do accidentally nick one of the sheep, but you treat the animal, make sure it doesn't get an infection.
Because sheep are fucking dumb.
Yeah,
they'll. Seriously, one of the dumbest creatures on the planet.
Don't be a speciesist.
They will literally eat until their stomachs explode if you don't like.
Yeah, there's a reason why it only takes one guy and a dog to keep like 500 of them together, like because they are not bright animals.
And the guy, of course, in Ireland is always
the one old guy in Ireland waving, standing in the field next to the stone wall for no apparent reason. It takes is him and his like 500-year-old dog. That's it. And you can just corral them wherever you need, because as soon as one starts to turn that direction, the rest of them are like, oh, this way. Okay. These
are the same people that like idealize like the way of life of like the Native Americans. But
and ignore the fact
the Native American, exactly.
Yeah, ignore the fact that the Native Americans were like largely carnivorous.
Yeah, not those Native Americans, guys. Not those aren't real Native Americans. We're talking about these people that ate nothing but plants and
the ones. The ones that didn't kill animals.
Just because you have a bead curtain in your house and you do peyote doesn't mean that you fucking tapped into your Native American roots. Okay.
Well, the best part, and actually to bring this around to this article, I have to think that it's really sad that the Crow tribe has fallen this far, because there was a point where the Crow were pretty fearsome.
Yeah.
Totally.
And don't forget, they're the last tribe to have a war chief, a true war chief.
That was accidental.
Well, it was accidental, but Joe Medicine Crow, World War II, earned his stripes officially. He did all 4 required tasks to become a war chief for the Crow. And it's a tribe that's gone from having a war chief and being so feared that they have to basically say, you can hunt wherever you want, just please, for the love of God, try and be peaceful and stay here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've gone from that to, if it would please the crown, may I hunt a little bit to sustain myself? Like, how far have you fallen? Well, Jesus. You used to be impressive and scary and awesome.
How did that happen? Because they trusted the United States fucking government.
And that were rendered docile.
That totally always works out. You just trust the government, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman voice, it was not fine.
Yeah, but all was not fine. All was not fine at all.
That just proves like their whole method of how they like to render groups of people docile and defang them so that they're no longer a threat to the state.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Again, I hate to use this word, but again, it comes back to it. The culture, like the Native American culture, was literally beaten and bred out of the Native Americans.
Oh, absolutely was.
Right? Just
same
like
thing within Canada.
And Canada, it's like the culture of freedom here in the United States has been docile. It's been bred out of people.
Well, they didn't even need to be overt about it. That's the worst part, is they didn't even need to be overt because they figured out.
They ripped kids away from their parents and sent them to government-controlled boarding schools that beat them, abused them, burned them, shaved their freaking heads when they used their own native languages.
Now, not all of them were like that, but they did bribe them in other ways.
Right. I was going to say, but see, that's the thing is you don't. The problem is that, and like with the culture of freedom in the United States, they figured out that the harder they push to get openly against freedom, the harder we push back. So instead, now you can't go overt about it. You have to just go, oh, look at all these nice things government's doing for you. Why would you want to fight against us?
Right. They've just encouraged decadence. They've encouraged cultural fucking decadence, which pacifies people.
Yep, independency.
And that's the thing, like you hear that from some people who actually went to those native schools, who she knows that some of the elders in the Ojibwa who loved the schools.
My mother's parents, they went to those schools. They were born in Oklahoma, part of the Cherokee Nation. They went to those schools, and they were raised hard. They were raised really physically domineering.
But in contrast, though, Jason, like the elders that I talked to, because I went to school in LCO for a while, so I was actually in classrooms with the elders, and the elders, like several of them, they were like, when we were going. Now this is obviously towards the end of the whole schooling stuff, but when we were going, it was so exciting. I couldn't wait to go back because I had electricity.
Right, they had all these wonderful things. They spoiled them. It's a whole diet. Like, oh, look at what wonderful things we white people in the government will give you, and all you got to do is give up literally everything that makes you you.
Yep.
And you get all these wonderful things, all these great, amazing. Look at all these shiny things we can give.
But they could only do it through the children.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can only ever be done through the children.
Right.
And it's the exact same reason that there's compulsory
blank minds are easier to control.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why they had to go to the 12. Because remember, when the public education system started, it was not a 12-year thing. It was not that long. And
it was like 8th grade, wasn't it? Like
I think it was actually like 6th.
Like 6th grade.
Yeah, it was like 6th grade originally, and then that was it.
Once you got to the point where you can do like a man's day of work, like you stopped going to school.
Right.
Yeah. And at that point, they realized though that isn't long enough because all of a sudden you just cut it off. So now they go back out into the world and they're interacting with all these people who have these dangerous ideas of freedom and independence and hard work and all these things. And so they have to hold you back a little bit longer. And now we're seeing it with you can't buy guns until you're 21. You can't do this until you're 20. The infantilization is necessary because you have to keep people believing that they're children and therefore dependent on someone else as long as possible, to the point where it's so ingrained in them that they depend on everybody else that they never figure out that they can live on their own.
they've created a culture of dependence.
Yep. Laura Ingalls Wilder was a school teacher by the time she was 16 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
They put everybody in like a state of arrested development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other interesting thing about the government schools with the Ojibwa, the same lady that told me she was excited to go every at the end of the summer, she also said that they were afraid, like the reason she thought that the Ojibwa language was dying is because they had made the people fear speaking their language. Because I think what it comes right down to is they straight up were like, no, you can't have these nice things. We're not going to help you out. We're going to let you starve. We're going to then go ahead and give you horrible grain again, like they did.
Like they did to the Navajo?
Well, they did this to the Ojibwa, too.
The origin of fry bread.
And, like, they're going to start starving you again unless you give up these things. But if you give up these things, then we're going to just go ahead and do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the same principle as like the welfare state. You keep voting for us. You do what we want, and we keep giving you these things that you want.
XYZ, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look at what happened. I mean, it's a kind of a bit of a stretch, but look at what happened with Kanye West with the moment that he started breaking from this collectivist, if you're black, you have to be a Democrat and anti-Trump and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, instead of getting all these jobs and all this support and all this backup and everything else professionally, now all of a sudden he's thrown under the bus and he's being abandoned and he's nuts and, he's just a house slave and all this other stuff that he gets. And, well, I disagree with him that Trump's so great. It doesn't matter. The point is that the dude just decided to think for himself and decide his own thing. And immediately now you have to ostracize him because you can't allow that dangerous independent thought into the collective.
Right.
Well, the whole like leftist mentality, like, well, I mean, it's not just the left, but the left, like, to an extreme, they depend on fucking. Yeah, but the left is like an extreme version of it because it's like hyper statism almost because they want like a fucking omnipotent state.
Yep.
But
teachers are more responsible for the spread of liberalism than anyone else.
Yep.
Yeah. And the whole thing is
Absolutely.
that like when it comes to that whole thing, like with like how all the left is for minorities, they're for minorities, but they're for keeping on that fucking mental plantation. If they step off of it, watch how racist they get. They get racist real fucking quick.
Yep. A couple of comments. Christopher Danielson said, which makes perfect sense for the public universities, just putting off the real world longer in an effort to continue to indoctrinate the youth into their adult years. Bingo. And Tara says, in reference to the inner cities, same thing in the inner cities. If anyone should be natural anarchists, it's the people living there.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
Should be, but that's where the major indoctrination happens.
Yeah,
and that's where
that's like the
new fucking plantations essentially.
And that's where a whole lot of government money flows into to keep them pacified and dependent.
And
not only government money, but CIA fucking drugs too.
They don't
hashtag free Rick Ross.
Yeah, and arms. But they don't want those people to become educated and independent because it's like then the ghettos will go away and then they won't have a voting block anymore because they realize like, okay, well, I don't need government handouts.
Yeah. Well, and that's why you see this increased urbanization, this push for an increased urbanization in the United States, because if everybo's spread out, they're really hard to control. It is really hard.
And that's why you see, like the leftist rhetoric against farmers, like making them seem backwards and small-minded and all of this. Like there's this demonization of people who don't come in and live within the special club inside the fucking cities.
Well, yeah,
I hate the cities.
Me too.
Yeah,
oh
I
my
do
God,
too.
I
I can't stand big cities. I can barely stand the town we're in now.
I can't stand cities.
Well, I've come to realize that like when I visit the city, it's like the closer to a city you get, the more like communist people become, because it's like they live in that like tight knit like kind of collective, so it's like kind of breeds that mentality. But when you get outside to like the rural areas, everybody's like way more independent and way more right leaning.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say people in cities are tight knit, because they're not. They fucking treat each other with suspicion. And
oh no, yeah, they're totally in their own isolated bubble and shit. It's weird. Like when you go down to New York City, it's like everybody is like completely isolated from everyone else, but they're walking down the street. It's like
it's so cliquey too.
Yeah, but like people won't even like acknowledge your existence. Almost, it's fucking, it's weird.
Yeah, but out in the country, like out here where we live, we're pretty rural, and like, I mean, I wave at people I don't even know, like on the street,
exactly,
in the cars,
right? You never see that
like
in the
somebody
city.
sitting on the side of the highway with their blinkers on, their flashers on. I'll stop and ask them if they need help. I mean, people are friendly out here. Like I don't know everybody's name at the grocery store, but I know their fucking faces and I know details of their lives. And
one of the worst parts about living out in the middle of nowhere is everybody knows all your business and there's no way to hide. It's friggin' annoying.
Yeah, right.
But see, and that's what's weird. I grew up in really small towns and living in really small towns and really rural areas, and then now I've spent the past years in like a city, and it's not like a huge city. Like La Crosse itself proper is like 65,000. It's not huge.
135,000 in my city. Just over $1 million in my county.
The town I grew up in had 35,000 people.
Yeah, the towns that I grew up in averaged 350, maybe 400 people, maybe. So like that's, like when Viroqua, Wisconsin seems like a big city for you because it has like 3,500 people in it. That's
Rice Lake, Wisconsin, because there's like 2,000 people in it.
Holy cow, it's huge. But it's like living here, I realized I've become slightly cityfied because then I'll drive out places to, rural areas and stuff again. And people are like waving at me in my pickup. And I'm like, I have no idea who you are. Hi. And I'm like, oh no, that isn't weird. That's right. That never used to be weird. That's only weird now. That's right. It's so strange.
Or somebody helps you like grab your groceries to bring them in the house. And your first reaction is, what the fuck is wrong?
Yeah,
with
what
you?
are you doing?
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to steal from me?
Yeah,
trying to steal from me.
Yeah.
And then you got to remember, oh wait, no, they're actually just being nice.
No, they're just a nice person helping me out to my car. Never mind. No, this is good.
Yes, the town I grew up in has like about an average of like 12,000 people in it. So it's like it's got that small town feel, but there's enough people that it doesn't feel like a small town. Like I don't know, it's weird.
It's like the closer people are packed in together in living quarters, the less they're willing to directly help each other. So to still feel like a good person, they have to fucking do this indirect, benevolent fucking charity by the point of a gun through government to still feel like they're connected to humanity. You don't need that shit out in the sticks.
Yeah, but yet they're like hyper atomized.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all of their dependency has to be much more subtle out in the country. So instead of saying, "Oh, we're going to give you food stamps, we're going to give you this welfare, that welfare," it's corn subsidies. It's we have this home improvement program just for farmers. Well, we'll replace your heater and this thing and that thing with these grants that we'll give you, and we'll help you with this, and it's all for your own good. And look, we'll even give you this government grant to buy a new tractor, and
we'll put up a commercial on TV talking about how important farmers are to feeding our nation and shit. We're gonna turn propaganda in your favor for a little while here, and
and then that way the Republican right can stand up on election day and go, see, I'm for the farmers and I understand the needs of rural America and everything, because it's the exact same thing. The Southern welfare.
I read an article today about the subsidies that the federal government's handing out because of the tariffs. Right, then to help the farmers and whatnot. and like $15 million of the tariff is going to one company in Brazil that does nothing but processed pork.
Jesus.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, make America great again. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, that and they couldn't, like, they had to fucking store their soy and shit because, or like, you know, get rid of it because the Chinese were like, well, fuck you, we're not buying any soy from you guys.
Yeah,
and, like, fucked over a lot of farmers.
And that's huge industry. That's a big fucking industry.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
Well, and I love the Trumpkins that are like, oh, Trump got China to buy all of that rice from us. I mean, he sold rice to China. Yeah, because China can't produce any of its own, first of all, because they're a communist nation. They still are, and they have trouble producing food, and they're starving. And number two, they were already buying that rice, you nincompoops. He just talked them back into buying it again after he convinced them not to because he's a dick. Like, what?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They literally bought the rice to keep him from raising the tariffs on other products.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, all right, fine, we'll buy your stupid rice that we were gonna need anyway, in exchange for you not doing that. Like,
but the
are you
problem
kidding me?
The problem is that the American people still look at other countries, for example, China, as the super rural. Oh, they're all in the rice paddies all day long. That's all they do.
Right.
Yeah. And that isn't most of China.
No,
not at all.
Not at all. Like, you're thinking of Vietnam, dude. Like, that's not China.
Right. Hey guys, we have like 10 minutes left
beat
until
by the rice
11.
farmers.
So yeah, we got to get on with Derek's article.
All right.
All right. A Nebraska bar leaves special notes for customers who don't drink and drive.
I love this idea.
Yeah. Don't drink and drive, get a free meal. Sounds like a pretty solid deal. The simple, potentially life-saving gesture is how the Union Bar and Grill in Gering, Nebraska likes to operate. The restaurant doesn't tow vehicles that remain in the parking lot overnight. Instead, its owners reward the patrons who leave their wheels behind by giving them a free meal upon when they return to pick up their car.
A hamburger and fries. Yeah.
Scott and Kara Swanson, owners of the eatery, leave a kind note on the windshield of the cars left overnight with instructions to, quote, bring this letter to the bar and we'll give you a hamburger and french fries.
What I love the most about this idea is that not only it's not 100% altruistic. And it's weird to say that I love that about that idea, but that's what makes it sustainable. Because you know what? This is good for business. This bar will get more business because they're doing that. If you have 3 bars you can go to drink at in town and you want to kind of cut loose and you don't know if maybe you'll be too messed up to drive, I'm going to pick the bar that's not going to tow my fucking car if I have to leave it behind. And then I can go in and... It
creates a positive incentive.
Exactly.
Yeah, it incentivizes good behavior.
So the customers have a positive incentive and the owners have a positive incentive.
Yeah, instead of creating
everybody's fucking winning.
Yeah, instead of the negative incentives associated with drunk driving, such as tickets and DUI charges and all this other stuff associated.
And people who could be hurt, like the public benefits too.
Yeah, those are all negative incentives. But the positive incentives, like this bar is not going to tow my car. This bar is also going to give me a free meal.
Right.
Like few things help a hangover like hamburger and french fries. Just
and that's
something greasy that'll fucking stick to your ribs. Like that's the ticket when you've got a hangover.
And the thing is too is that like anybody who's ever trained dogs knows that positive reinforcement will always work better. Always work better.
Always
than negative.
Not just dogs, children.
Yep.
Husbands.
Children.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, children, husbands. It's whatever.
Well, if you wash the dishes, you'll get some ass, and then the fucking dishes are done in like 5 minutes.
Abracadabra.
I'm telling you, it's like magic. It's like fucking magic.
But actually, I Googled it real quick because this sounded really familiar, and I found out this article is actually a sign that this idea is catching on because there are at least 2 previous articles in the past 2 years of bars doing this as one-off things for people who had left their cars in their parking lot. So it's a really good sign. These bars are all figuring out, holy crap, this works. Like, and everybody celebrates it. And now everybody will come to my bar because if they have to leave their car, it's not a big deal. Like,
how much longer do you think it's going to be before the government steps in and makes those no parking after certain period of time zones?
I was just going
to
say
protect
because
their fucking revenue investment.
Their racket.
Well, I mean,
drunk drivers.
That's what the government's doing is negative reinforcement. Actually, the other direction is you can't drink and drive, but you know if you walk instead, we're going to tow your vehicle and we're going to get
like Justin got fucking taken.
I was just going to say that
in public because he was walking home from the bar instead of
driving.
And
they pull that shit.
Negative reinforcement for being responsible.
Yeah.
It's like,
well that's what taxes are too.
I know, right?
Well, and I'm not allowed, and so I can't walk home drunk. I can't drive home drunk, but I am drunk and I'm in this bar. Am I supposed to stay in the bar?
And you've regulated Uber and Lyft out of fucking existence in my location.
Yeah,
and there's taxis all the way out here. I mean,
so basically, you're left with the choice of I'm going to go ahead and drive as fast as I possibly can to get home,
and just hope that you don't spot me.
Yeah. Like, and that's clearly the choice that's going to get picked. Like, that's
call someone to come pick you up. Oh, but you will fucking tow my car.
Yeah, but you'll take my car. It's that simple. Like, I don't.
It's not about logic. It's not about logic to them. It's about revenue.
It's always it's always about revenue. That's
revenue
okay.
control.
So that's a good rule of thumb for anybody who ever listens to this podcast. Everything the government does is ultimately about revenue or power. Those are the two things that drive everything the fucking government does. They don't give a shit about you. If they're saying they do, it's because there's something in it for them.
This practice of positive reinforcement is as the great prophet and water filtration salesman would say, it's a 360 win for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, this is anarchy. People say, oh, well, how would, a lot of states will use, oh, well, if a drunk driver, blah, 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 in your unregulated world, everybody's getting killed by mafias and drunk drivers. Really? Because this is a free market solution to the problem of drunk driving.
It's a positive incentive to do this, to go to that bar, to drink there, to spend your money there, because they're going
to not get behind the wheel when you are done drinking, because there's a burger and fries in it for you the next day.
Yeah.
If you don't fucking get behind the wheel.
And that's all you have to tell a young person. I will give you a fucking hamburger tomorrow.
Yeah, I will give you a bacon cheeseburger and a great big thing of fries.
I'll even throw in a Coke.
Yeah, I'll even throw in a Coca-Cola for you.
Fucking sold.
Yeah, right.
I will fucking crawl back to my
dude. I will give you a voucher for Taco Bell if you.
But you're fucked if you're a vegan because it's not a microbrewery.
Taco Bell hangovers don't mix. I'm just let's throw that out.
Oh, they mix, just not well.
How do vegans even drink beer? Because yeast is a fucking living organism and it has to be killed after the fermentation.
Don't tell them that, dude.
Did you see that thing with who was that? The musician who has the wine now, where he was asked if they're
Maynard.
Where he was asked if their wine was vegan, and he looked it up and realized to his horror that it was. So he went to all the vats and dipped bacon in all of them.
Yeah.
Not anymore, fuckers.
Your wine is not vegan. There are dead animals in it. There's dead animals in everything alcoholic.
Yeah. So this carries over the positive incentives. It carries over to this next article. Private companies are paying to keep roads groomed, bathrooms cleaned in Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm. Because
they want
it's
them open.
Good for fucking business.
Yep.
2 weeks into the government shutdown, national parks are starting to close. The public has been getting free access since there are no employees to collect the entrance fees up to $35 per car, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yep. Neither are employees there to collect trash or clean bathrooms, so the overflowing trash cans and toilets are posing a threat to human health and safety.
Can I pin another story to this real quick? I'm going to pin another story to this. The fucking FDA has not been inspecting food, and nobody is being reaped down into like mass, like fucking mass graves behind restaurants. Nobody's fucking doing that.
Give it time. Give it time.
Digging these trenches.
Because it's not good for business to poison your fucking customers.
Who knew?
But in the nation's oldest park, Yellowstone, local businesses are pitching in to pay park staff to keep it open, or at least parts of it. Temperatures are in the park regularly drop below zero this time of year, and the park is a blanket of snow. But still, between 20 and 30,000 people a month still come to Yellowstone in wintertime. The snow is actually a big attraction.
Yeah,
snowmobiles are as common as cars on the frozen streets of the park Gateway in the town of West Yellowstone, Montana. Dan Gibson from
I've been to Gateway. I camped there once. It's a beautiful town. Yeah,
and it's just these people, these businesses that rely on the tourists, they have a positive incentive to help pay for these parks, to help keep the roads clear, to help keep the bathrooms clean and the trash picked up, because the tourists are the basis, or not even the basis. The tourists are the reason.
They're the local economy. They are the local tourism is the local economy.
These statists, they act like if government isn't around to plow roads and maintain them, that the very first snowfall that happens, all these people will just be sitting there twiddling their thumbs going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. During the shutdown, private businesses that operate inside the park are picking up the tab. About $7,500 a day to groom Yellowstone's 300 plus miles of snow-covered roads, and to keep one paved road open to cars.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not. It's not a lot. They're not paying a lot, but
yeah. So to recap, without government, restaurants are not going to poison you. Drunk drivers are not going to fucking kill you, and the environment will not be fucking polluted by local businesses. Why? Because none of those fucking things are good for business. All you need is natural fucking human self-interest and incentive for people to do decent things, because it is good for business to be a decent person.
Imagine what these businesses could do if they weren't over-regulated, red-taped, and taxed.
Hell yes.
Well, there's a reason why they do that, because they don't want the business to fucking flourish. You know what I mean? It's like they want to keep them capped.
They have to keep them dependent. I mean, they have to make the business look to the government for permission to do everything. Why? Because business is government's only natural fucking predator, and they have to keep it down, or it will eat them, and government will become irrelevant.
Well, yeah, because it's way more efficient.
Yeah.
So if you don't handicap it, then people will realize, okay, well, we don't need government because business will take care of the services that they provide.
Right.
Yep.
Insanity.
Yeah. Who knew that people who gave themselves ultimate fucking cosmic power over everybody's lives would like squash their fucking competition? Who fucking knew?
Yeah.
It's I got madness.
I got one more, and we have to do this article just for the laughs, and
all right, quick,
and then we can do it. This is it from across the pond in the UK. Pet owner 80 left in tears after being fined £50, quote, because her dog lead was too long. A pet owner was left in tears after being fined £50 because her dog lead was too long. Grandmother of 4, Maureen Sanders, 80, from Bootle, Maryside, was fined while taking her dog for a walk around the cemetery Friday morning. She was walking her rescue dog Soren around the Bootle Cemetery when 2 female officers from the enforcement firm NSL approached her and told her her lead, the leash, was, quote, too long, and issued her a £50 fine.
Enforcement firm?
Yeah, they told her the dog lead needed to be less than 2 meters long.
Did they measure it?
The UK actually has dedicated arms of the police force just to go after people for infringement of ordinances and regulations and things.
Of course, because they're the fucking British, and that's what they do.
Yep.
England is like the most like heavily regulated fucking country in the world, probably. Well, not the world, but I'm saying it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
They never learned their lesson. All their colonies got sick of their fucking shit and kicked their asses out, and they still haven't learned anything from any of it.
Except Canada.
Another bonus point to this one. Although her daughters have offered to give her the £50 so it doesn't come out of her pension, Miss Sanders is refusing to pay the fine as a matter of principle. She told the Liverpool Echo, quote, "I had no idea it was a rule. What really upsets me is that if you don't have it paid up in a fortnight, they said you could be fined £2,500 and I would have a criminal record."
Jesus. For a
having too
leash
long a
that
leash.
exceeds
Yeah.
6 feet.
Gosh, lady, it looks...
fuck.
What I say, madam, but it appears that your dog has too much freedom.
Yeah, right.
Please, the crown.
Reeling that leash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Britain, but here in
Like
America,
if this
we
isn't
have
an analogy for fucking...
I mean, like in America, we have like 25-foot training leads for dogs and shit that we can use. I mean, we're obviously way more free than you guys.
You wouldn't want your British dogs to get a little too much freedom. They might start thinking they're Irish.
Yeah, right.
They might call you a wee cunt.
Well, I mean, it's a great analogy. Yeah. It's kind of a great analogy for like human freedom and like the government keeping people on a fucking shortened leash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't want to make the leash too long because then they might actually think that they have freedom. So.
Yeah, and here's the big joke: they've convinced those very people that they're the ones holding the fucking leash.
Hold it. Yeah.
How's that for some fucking shit?
Yeah.
What's the Facebook page? Campaign for longer leashes or campaign for a longer leash, something like that.
Yeah.
I think Lou Fiend was a part of that one, but that
campaign
was a
for
page.
Longer leash and a lighter whip.
Yeah, it's just. I mean,
it's insanity that the American people think they have the government on a leash. Like
the Constitution was there to restrict government. Well,
yeah, we have a restrained government of checks and balances. We, the people, have the power. You're a fucking idiot. You're one of those sheep we were talking about earlier, and you're gonna eat until your fucking stomach explodes because that's how stupid you are.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
As soon as I hear people start talking about, the Constitution is there to restrict, all I can hear is bah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Man, fucking people.
I just the idea that your leash is too long in the graveyard. Who's it gonna offend?
Right.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna get complaints.
So it's okay if my dog pisses on the gravestones that are within 6 feet of me.
Yeah, but only
not if they get to one that's 7 feet away.
Yeah, that's just out of hand.
Yeah, I say that's
unacceptable.
It's like the safe act in New York. Like 7 rounds is safe, but an 8 rounds is dangerous. You can't have 8 rounds.
Yeah. Well, you end up with a sandy hook if you have 8 rounds.
Yeah,
everybody knows that.
You can have a 6-foot leash, but not an 8-foot leash. 8-foot leash is too long. It's too dangerous.
It's too dangerous. You never know. The dog may go to the end of that leash and may find a squirrel. And
so it seems like the theme for tonight is shit that makes Derek violent, and fucking arbitrary shit makes me violent too. It does.
We didn't discuss anything pertaining to property rights. So I'm already pissed off. We didn't even talk about any like eminent domain stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to go too far over the edge and fucking,
Yeah.
I end up watching the news and there's a mass murder out in California.
Show. And I mean, really, probably 80% of our shows, eminent domain or civil asset forfeiture, getting mentioned. So
I actually almost brought civil asset forfeiture into it. Chicago has stolen and sold over 50,000 cars since 2011 from people over nothing but traffic tickets.
What?
You want to know what else Illinois is doing? They're fucking taxing lap dances now under the fucking entertainment tax.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. God. So you don't even have the freedom in the state of Illinois to go get not even quite fucked.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You don't even have the freedom to go get teased. You have to fucking pay taxes to go get teased in Illinois.
That's just pretty soon. There's going to be a masturbation tax in Illinois.
I was thinking that too.
That's what I was thinking. How do you enforce that? They'll fucking find a way.
Alabama actually has a law against sex toys, and they get around the law by selling them as novelty items.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like gag gifts. Gag gifts.
Along with the masturbation tax, they'll probably have somebody like sent to your house to regulate how much you came, and if you came over a certain amount, then you get fucking extra charge for it.
I'm sorry. They call it the Peter North's law.
Make sure you come in this cup, or there's a $2,500 fine for tax evasion.
That's where we're headed, man.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's so absurd.
Well, the sick part about it is because I'm a sick individual, I'd be like, all right, come on in and watch.
You're going to watch. I'm going to make eye contact with you the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my time and be as awkward as possible about it.
Yeah.
See, that's the worst part about the shutdown.
And I'm going to moan your mother's name the whole fucking time.
And that's one of the worst things about the shutdown is all these people, they don't have anybody monitoring their cameras on their laptops anymore. So all these people are jerking off without people watching them.
Oh man,
that's a damn tragedy.
I feel so alone.
It's kind of fucking lonely. Yeah, did you just say that?
I said I feel so alone.
I was gonna say I thought it felt even more awkward than normal. Andrew was playing video games today. I mean,
there's no camera. The camera's even down. There's nobody watching.
I haven't shit by myself since I got my first smartphone, you guys.
I feel like when it comes back up, we should all just put little signs in front of our webcams. Like,
welcome back. I missed you. I missed you with a little heart.
Yeah.
Playing the Welcome Back Cotter theme song.
55 times since you were gone.
Yeah, there's
right.
But don't worry, I actually recorded these and then just start playing them in front of you.
Yeah. I kept a log for you. I didn't want to get you in trouble for lack of.
They'll play them a slideshow of what they missed.
Yeah. Like a Facebook video. Here's the thing.
Oh my God. One of those, you've been friends for 10 years on Facebook. We made a video. Do you want
to think you might have missed this year?
With the stupid little music playing in the background, and like you and your FBI agent in a little fucking canoe.
This is a great idea.
I actually think that we should all do that.
I really wish I could figure out who the hell my NSA agent that's watching me is so that I could start photoshopping his face and my face onto like pictures of like famous couples doing things out like.
You mean like I do with Slinky and Jonathan June? Like I put Slinky and Jonathan's faces on shit?
Yeah, like and just start doing that. Like, here's the time we went to the zoo. Here's us going to the movies together.
Yeah. Right. You could play that little like the Oz version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
You know? God.
I posted this meme earlier about it's like single chicks. Yeah, this is shout out to all the single women that complain about being single but never go out, just waiting for Mr. Right to break into your house. And I tagged Jonathan June and I'm like, here's your chance, buddy. He's like, but every time I break into the house, they call the cops.
Get the duct tape and the hammer.
And then somebody chimed in and was like, they were like, you're slipping up. You know, they shouldn't be able to realize you're there until you're within chloroform distance.
Right. Don't forget to bring Cupid the ball peen hammer.
That's right, man. Hammer time.
Well, you know what they say, no means yes, yes means harder, and please God no means grab the ball gag.
Yeah, and
That's
pineapple means no.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just thought yes means yes.
Or sorry, pound me too.
Or
pound.
No,
me
Pound
too.
me too.
No means yes. Yes means anal. That's what that is.
Yeah. No means yes, and yes means anal. All right, that works.
Thank you. I think it was Harvard or Yale. I don't remember.
That's usually the rule of thumb.
The ones that got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And porpoise means stop.
Porpoise. Dolphin. Nope, sorry, that's not right.
No, it's some kind of fucking sea mammal.
Orca? No.
I'm sorry, but I'm an
Manatee?
anarchist. I don't take
Manatee?
orders from others.
Beluga. It's fucking beluga.
Yeah. Narwhal.
Narwhal.
I don't want to know what that one means.
Platypus?
Platypus.
If you have to ask, you're not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You may not be ready for that one yet.
Yeah, probably not. Got to work my way up.
Got to pay for that next level of Scientology.
Well, I'm convinced narwhals are really like fucking underwater spies for like the NSA, but they're like unicorns in disguise.
Is a
sea
narwhal
animals.
is it a nar or is it a wall?
I think it's more of a nar. To be quite
More of a
honest
nar.
with you. No, actually, there's a really good beer that's like 9-point-something%. I think it's like Sierra Nevada makes it. It's called Narwhal.
Huh.
If anybody gets a chance, drink that shit. It's so good.
Okay.
That was a narwhal.
All right. Well, I
On
think
that
we're
note,
on that note. I think
Budget
it's time to
calls
say
for
goodnight.
new tax on drinking water.
God.
What?
we'll tax your water, we'll tax your air.
Tax
We
all
have
the
to.
things.
We have to go, Jason. We can be here all
I
night
just-
if you start looking up new articles.
You're right.
And all the giggling that's made me have to go piddle.
That's why my camera shut off, because it was either go piddle or piddle in my pants.
That's rookie stuff, Lindsay. You got to get Depends or whatever.
You got to get the racing.
You got to get the
like NASCAR.
Yeah.
Get the shiwi in a fucking like mellow yellow bottle.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking maybe get me one of those astronaut underwears.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Crazy
chick that
lady that went to
drove
Florida or
across the fucking country wearing astronaut diapers.
Yep.
God.
I love that they labeled that as a love triangle, and then it came out that that dude didn't want anything to do with her. It's like
Right.
triangle. What do you? No.
She's
Stalker.
Sweet
Stalker
lo-
alert.
Love triangles. You hear about the one the NYPD?
Oh, yeah.
Four people were involved in a love circle
Love
or whatever
square.
it is. Love square.
No, the article called
and
the
they,
love rectangle.
A love rectangle, and
Yeah.
the police, the chief of police took their guns so they wouldn't shoot each other.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shit got serious, man.
No.
Fucking love rectangle.
They're lucky that they didn't. One maybe, or the women weren't maybe closer, because that would have been a love rumble.
God. I laughed so hard when I saw that love rectangle.
No, it's not like this. No, it's a little more like this.
Ooh. Ooh.
Speaking of being surprised people don't shoot each other, I don't understand how the TSA or any other government employee that now is working for free hasn't shot people.
Yeah.
Because I would.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it time.
Well, there's a lot of NSA calling, or NSA, there's a lot of TSA calling in a blue flu situation. They're like, we're not getting paid, fuck off.
My wonderful meme. They direct, they inspect, but most of all, they call in sec.
Well, I mean, in a sense, Trump's kind of doing anarchists a favor by proving that we don't really need the government.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, this was a fun episode. 2-year anniversary.
Oh,
Thanks
shit,
for
it is,
tuning
too.
in, everybody.
Florida man is behind bars after he reportedly said he was going to kill his neighbors with a machete that had the word kindness written on the side.
He was going to kill them with kindness.
He was going to kill them with kindness.
That is fantastic. For once, I actually admire Florida man.
Florida man.
Yeah.
Fucking Florida man.
We need to fucking write a script for a movie for Florida man.
Oh my god.
I don't think
It'd be
it would
epic.
be
Like the new
really
Jay
funny
and Silent
that they
Bob.
Yeah, right. Only with bath salts.
Right.
There are not enough.
And a little
God,
bit
I
of
still remember
cannibalism.
that meme. That meme just fucking. I still remember a meme from that. Like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but I'm on bath salts and your face looks tasty. I loved that fucking meme.
That needs to be found.
It does. It's somewhere on my timeline from years ago.
Yeah.
I love that fucking meme.
Bath salts is how Tinder
It was
becomes
one of
the
those e-greeting memes. You know, the one that looks
Yep.
like a
The
Yeah.
e-card.
yeah, the e-card.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have my new assignment. I shall try.
Try and find it.
Yeah.
The hunt
All right.
begins.
On that
Well,
note, yeah,
everybody-
this is episode 52,
Buy my book.
which is now 2 years. This has been 2 years, and Derek and I have not pod faded.
Nope.
everybody else has. Like Mark
Yeah.
is gone, and
Melissa
Melissa's gone, and
and-
Mandy's gone.
Yeah.
I'm kind of one of the original members, even though I can't.
You were
remember the
close.
first
I
one.
Very
checked.
close.
You were your first episode was episode 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just
Me and
want
Jason,
to.
we're the OGs. Like we're the OGs.
I want to read this really quick
do
before.
that again.
What?
I said say that again. I
me?
was practicing to be an FBI agent. I wanted to hear it again.
Oh, that we're the OGs.
The joke.
That joke just fucking pod faded, Jason.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, so I want to
All
read
right.
this. I want to read this really quick before we check out. It says, "Has anarchy ever been tried?" This is an all too common question that contains a logical fallacy. Anarchy cannot be tried. Anarchy is not a social or political system. Anarchy is the fundamental state of nature into which you are born. Anarchy exists every single time you voluntarily interact with other people. Anarchy factually informs. Jesus Christ, I can't even read right now. never eat edibles.
Being
kids.
a pot fading.
Never eat edibles, kids.
That's
anyway,
called pot fading.
Pot
Andrew.
fading, yeah.
Yeah.
Pot fading.
Anarchy factually informs the vast majority of daily activities, even in today's mad world.
Legit.
Who wrote
Fucking
that?
true.
Robert Eichweiser
Yeah.
or something.
Dan put that up on the Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion Facebook page.
Yep.
As a meme. Yep.
The link,
Share it.
the link
Show
to
your
that is in the
I would
description.
share anything that Jason says to share because you'll get a 3-day.
Yeah. And buy my book, damn it. We didn't even mention it.
And buy Derica's book, damn it, and
Yes,
buy her caramels.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
buy her caramels and her book.
You really need to just do
Go
a
to-
video for that. Buy my book. Damn
yeah.
it.
Damn it.
it's an order by an
Fucking
anarchist.
buy it.
Yeah, Anarchy Among Friends, episode 53. Buy Derica's book. Damn it.
Hell yeah. All right.
So yeah,
Well-
on that note, 2 years strong, and we don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
This is too much fucking fun.
And too many more.
Yeah, so-
Because-
Happy birthday, Anarchy Among Friends.
yes. Yay.
Yay!
I don't have
Where's
a
the
little
spanking machine? Do we get a spanking machine?
spanking.
No, my birthday's coming up. You're not allowed to have a spanking machine.
Chris found it. Chris
Do you guys
found it.
remember they used to do that shit in fucking grade school? when it was your birthday, you had to go in a spanking machine?
So Chris has found the meme in question.
Oh, well, the one that I saw was a little different, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris,
Thank
you're
you,
my hero.
No. He actually just dropped a message saying they need to check their DMs on Facebook.
Okay.
And Tara says she is buying the book, damn it, and then there's a little heart.
Thank you.
So, for the third time, on that note.
Yeah.
And on this time.
For real.
Well, I mean, it's anarchist. I mean, that's what it is.
We do what we want.
So, we'll catch you in a couple weeks. All right. Peace.
Peace.